Today's little video is around how to make a new hire. So we're going to take our asset that we created in the previous video and we're going to make a new hire. So fairly simple. So we'll just come up to the top. A couple of ways we can do this. We can either go new hire from here or new hire here, either way. And that'll load up and ask you to select the customer directly from that point of view. Now, a couple of other ways you can create a new hire. So we'll just close out of that. If I go to my calendar mode, again, I can click on here in any one of these options and create a new hire from there as well. Really simple, works really well. Or I can drag and drop in my pipeline. I can take any one of these machines, drag and drop it for a quote or whatever, and again, it'll ask me, do I wish to create a hire? So there's a couple of different ways you can do this, but let's just go with the basics, and we're going to make a new hire from here. It's going to automatically load my customer, so I'm going to make a hire for Config Electrical, and it's going to be asking me which machine do I want to use, because these are available at the moment. So I'm going to select our guy that we created earlier. The third screen that pops up automatically is what rate are we going to do this hire for. So if it's a long-term rental, you would typically invoice them every month. So you would select 1 month of hire. So we're going to select this one. Obviously the different options. Now remember, all these numbers come from the basics set up against the fixed asset, against the piece of equipment. So let's select that. So now it's populated everything based on what our structure of our fixed asset was in the first place. It's loaded our product, our equipment here. Any products that by default we're going to automatically send out with it, including the first month hire. There it is there, that's the product. For accounting purposes, you definitely need that in there, because when you make your invoice, those are the products that are going to appear on your invoice. And you can add different comments and instructions in there. In this case, there are different options at this point. If a customer is just ringing in for a quote, you would set the status to quote, and this tab will define as quote. Now, there's really no difference between when it becomes an actual or a quote, just the different status showing here. So keep in mind, you would set the delivery date typically 1 day before the rental is due to start, which is your rental from and rental to period. Now, if your rental is over multiple months, so if I expand this out over a couple more months, like so, my rental period that I'm going to invoice for is still monthly, but in this case, it's over 3 months. So keep in mind the difference. My invoice period is monthly, but I'm taking it out over 3 months. So keep that in mind. If you want to invoice every month for this rental machine to be out, but the period that it's rented for is 3 months. So keep that in mind. It's very important that you understand that concept, the rental from and to, and the invoice period. Okay. You should also set the condition of the machine when it leaves. So if there's any damage to it, like we know there's damage on the tire, it was recently damaged, like so, and I've checked that that's fine, I can then add a picture of the damaged tire. This is really important, because when you send the machine out, you need to know what was damaged, because the condition in should reflect the condition out. If there's any changes, you'll see that there. All right. I can also load my default conditions that I want to check when I take out the condition, when I want to send it out. Or I can add more options in here. All right. I can also add a picture of the machine, make it all happen. All right. At this point, I can choose to save this. It's now going to try to email, SMS, everything out to the customer and to back to your own chat app. So there we go. So there's my quote that I've done for Config Electrical. The customer now rings back and says, yes, I want to update that to please book it. So I'm going to simply change that to booked. I could have done that in a number of different ways. One option is just to simply select the status like so, or back on my main panel, it's now moved over to this booked figure here, like so. Once it's booked, then a couple of other things kick in, but let's drill back down into that. You'll notice this tab has now become actual. So this is when it's actually going to be rented from and to. I can also update my hire agreement at this point. This is what's been emailed out to the customer and they've signed and brought it back in. I would also recommend you update the delivery details. So I'm going to say now, yes, this is ready to be delivered. And we just go, yes. It now gives you the delivery of when it's to be shipped out and when it's to be picked up, like so. So you've got a delivery date, out, and to be picked up. I'm going to save this. Now this again is all relevant because the idea is at some point now we're going to, in the next video, we're going to allocate it to a driver for him to ship this out to the customer. And that's going to work from when I come up here to hire on my hire delivery list, like so. So at the moment I can see this machine is ready to go, but it hasn't been assigned a driver. This is our next video. That's what we'll get into. But right now, if I come back to my hire, I can see I'm set to pre-delivery, ready to go out the door, and it's good to go. But that's how you set up a new hire, quote it, and it's actually booked, and how it moved through the statuses to get you to that point. And again, if anything in here is not clear, just pause the video, go back, play it again. Hope that made sense.